Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, a proposed petition could determine the future of the land next to one local park. How Gainesville City Commissioners could make the land more accessible to the public.
And the Florida Supreme Court's decision for a 6-week abortion ban is sparking controversy throughout the state. How local organizations are making their stances heard this weekend.
And we're seeing sunny skies after Wednesday's severe weather. The UF weather team is tracking how long these clear skies and milder temperatures will stick around. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Gainesville City Commissioners met just hours ago to discuss a proposed petition that could change the fate of land adjacent to Depot Park. This is First at 5. I'm Juan Chaoui.
And I'm Caitlyn Schiffer. The revision allows the property to change its land use. WFT's Cassie DesVergers joins us live in the studio to tell us more about the proposed revisions.
Currently, the land is zoned for warehouse and manufacturing type spaces. The proposed petition would allow for more commercial, residential, and cultural spaces. Gainesville City planners proposed a land use change and rezone for property in the Power District. The Power District is located between downtown Gainesville and Depot Park. It used to house Gainesville Regional Utilities. However, GRU moved its operations center in 2011. Now the area is filled with industrial land that city planners have been trying to redevelop.
I'm really excited to have this coming forward to you because it's really an opportunity to sort of build on what the city's planning has been for the Power District and the redevelopment of that area.
The meeting lasted 4 hours. It was filled with discussion, comments, and questions about the needs and benefits of the petition. For a complete look at the plan, please visit WUFT.org. There you can review the complete petition. Live in the studio, Cassie DesVergers, WUFT News.
As you can see on the DOT camera of Paynes Prairie, you are seeing a cloudless day and blue skies. After yesterday's storms, this is a good time to spend your afternoon outside and enjoy the nice weather. UF forecaster Gancarz-Davies joins us now to track these sunny skies.
Just like Paynes Prairie, we do have those crystal blue skies above our campus here on our campus cam. Current temperatures are just around 70 degrees, and we do have a good amount of wind coming in at 16 miles per hour from the west. Wind gusts even higher. Current temperatures across the board fairly similar to Gainesville, around that 70-degree mark, a little cooler on the west coast and a little bit warmer on the east coast, but staying within 1 or 2 degrees of that 70-degree mark. Those wind gusts are quite high, heading up to those upper 20s, 28 here in Gainesville, even up to 35 in Jacksonville. But those wind gusts are quite intense, so you might want to grab a wind jacket. Those winds are coming from the west coast, and coming up, we have lower humidity, clear conditions, and a warmer next week coming up.
Protesters will make their voices heard Saturday in Gainesville, following a controversial Supreme Court decision on abortion rights. The rally will take place Saturday at City Hall at 1 p.m. Local organizations are coming together to support the amendment as Florida faces a 6-week abortion ban that will go into effect May 1st. Organizers will have information on the abortion rights referendum that will be Amendment 4 in Florida's November 5th election. The rally comes on the heels of Florida Supreme Court's decision earlier this week to uphold Florida's 15-week abortion law, which triggered the 6-week ban. The Supreme Court will also ruled in favor of Amendment 4 appearing on November's ballot. Florida Speaker of the House, Paul Renner, compared the amendment to extreme abortion laws in other countries, calling the measure activist-driven. Activist group Floridians Protecting Freedom said they collected almost 1 million signatures in support of Amendment 4, which will need at least 60% voter support in order to protect abortion rights up until 24 weeks of pregnancy.
Commission seats are up for grabs in the City of Alachua election next week. Voters will see 2 new candidates for the Seat 5 election. Ballots for Commission seats 4 and 5 will open April 9th. Shirley Green Brown, the current commissioner, is the only qualifier for Seat 4, taking her ballot off the race. The Seat 5 race features 2 candidates, Jennifer Blaylock and Eric Ford. Voters can head to the polls on Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Police in Ocala need your help identifying a suspect accused in another stolen credit card case at Rural Canyon in Ocala. Police are offering a $3,000 reward if your tip leads to an arrest. Officials ask you to call Detective Williams if you recognize this woman, or you can submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Marion County by calling or submitting online. 35-year-old Patrick Perkins has been found guilty of 38 counts of possession of child pornography. The Gainesville man was arrested in 2022 after an Alachua County Sheriff's Office investigation found him guilty in possession of 17 explicit images and 2 videos. He has been sentenced to 42 years in state prison and has an $873 fine, among other consequences.
Hawthorne is grieving the loss of former Mayor William Carlton, who passed away on Friday. Carlton served the city for over 20 years on the city commission and had one of the longest running seats as mayor of Hawthorne. He will be remembered by friends and family at his funeral, scheduled for Friday at St. Philly Neri Catholic Church at 1:30 p.m.
An Alachua County Middle School is sporting a facelift today. A new mural was completed that bears an uplifting message. WUFT's Bailey Korinek spoke to the artist who is inspiring students and raising awareness on the importance of mental health.
Fort Clark Middle School students' days are about to be a lot brighter. The nonprofit Mindful Messages has just completed its first mural at the school. The goal is to uplift and inspire young minds, bringing more life and love into educational spaces.
Jenna Horner has been painting murals around Gainesville for 3 years. Now, she's taking her talents back to school.
It's very intentional.
She calls her nonprofit, Mindful Messages, a mural movement. Horner has just completed her first school mural after 3 weeks of sketching and painting.
It's really a marriage between mental health, the arts, and uplifting the aesthetic of an environment or these facilities.
The message: be kind to yourself, you matter. Be kind to others, they matter.
Particularly the art students that I got to be with this past week were influenced in a way where after we did the work, I checked back in on how they were feeling, and some of them were feeling like really inspired. One of them even shared that she felt more mentally stable, which I felt was really interesting.
She said having students be a part of the process feels massively important. Language art teacher Peggy MacDonald said the mural is just what the school needs.
Before maybe you even see the text, you can see these bright colors and beautiful images. It just catches your eye. But on top of that, this inspirational message about kindness is just what we need, not only in middle school, but everyone needs that message.
Both women agree it's the words themselves that mean the most.
This is actually kind of affecting change, not just for the aesthetics of these schools, but also for the hearts and the minds of the students themselves.
Jenna won't be able to hang up the paintbrushes quite yet. Mindful Messages' next stop will be at Gainesville High School. GHS asked for the mural to represent its history as Alachua County's first integrated high school and to honor some local legends like Tom Petty. Live in the newsroom, Bailey Korinek, WUFT News.
Alachua County Public Schools are taking steps to protect students from the upcoming solar eclipse Monday. Between 1:30 p.m. and 4:30 p.m., public schools will not hold outdoor activities like PE classes or sports practices. School district representatives say teachers and after-school bus drivers are being advised to remind students not to look directly at the sun during the eclipse. Health officials say looking directly at a solar eclipse could lead to eye damage. And as we told you yesterday, Bradford County is protecting students for the eclipse by prohibiting outside activity after 1:30 p.m. Monday afternoon. The school district will have regular dismissal and is still instructing students to not look at the sun. Parents can check out if their child at noon if the absence is excused with a parent note.
Up next on WUFT's First at 5, health experts say type 2 diabetes cases are on the rise. After the break, hear from one local man about how his life changed after his diagnosis.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
According to a report by the CDC, type 2 diabetes cases are on the rise. I talked to a Gainesville neighbor on how he lives his life as a diabetic.
To Rodolfo Valladares, family is everything.
I'm a grandfather, have 20 grandchildren.
But that's not all. He and his wife are high school sweethearts, and since getting married, have traveled the world together. But he wasn't invincible.
All of a sudden, I kept feeling a little bit, how can I say it, tired.
Rodolfo wasn't watching his sugar intake and became one of what Census.gov estimates to be 37 million Americans diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. University of Florida pediatric professional Angelina Bernier says this number is expected to rise exponentially.
Metabolic disorders are becoming more common. So when it comes to the risk of developing obesity and diabetes, that actually gets compounded and worsened each generation.
The American Heart Association recommends no more than 36 grams of sugar a day for men and 25 grams for women. Meanwhile, the average daily sugar intake in America is over 70 grams, which Bernier says may lead to conditions like diabetes. As a result, Rodolfo had to adopt a new lifestyle.
You end up watching what you eat, watching what you don't eat, and then we snicker when we eat something that we shouldn't be eating.
His diagnosis also gave him a new view on life.
If anything, you kind of appreciate life a little bit more, and you only live once, right?
And despite his condition, he's the same family man he's always been. Only now, with a taste of a different sweetness life has to offer.
Bernier says one of the best ways to avoid developing type 2 diabetes is by watching what you eat.
An art exhibit is highlighting work from violent survivors during Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The Survivors of Violence art exhibit is on display at the Harn Museum through the end of the month. Alachua County Victim Services and Rape Crisis Center hosts the annual exhibit each April. Art showcase at the exhibit is created by survivors of violence who visit the center.
They host a call to submissions, asking folks in our community to submit their creative expressions as they've processed, grieved, understood the experiences that they've endured.
The exhibit is open for visitors to view for free through April 30th.
If you are in need of cows or pigs, Marion County has an event tomorrow that is just for you. The Sheriff's Office is hosting a livestock auction for unclaimed cows and pigs. Bids will begin at 11 a.m. and can start around $340 depending on the animal. Owners can still provide proof of ownership to claim the livestock by giving a bill of sale or a detailed description. The bidding location is on a farm in Citra by Highway 316. Speaking of unclaimed livestock, deputies in Putnam County say these two horses went out on a solo ride this morning in Melrose. Drivers found the duo on Baden Powell Road without any riders nearby. Fortunately, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office was able to reunite the horses with their owners.
Researchers at Colorado State University predict 2 months out from the 2024 hurricane season that the season will bring, quote, well above average chances for major hurricanes to hit landfall in the United States. CSU's forecasts show far more tropical climates throughout the season compared to 2023. Scientists say that because of these trends, we could see 23 named storms forming in the Atlantic, with potentially 11 of those storms turning into hurricanes. 5 of these hurricanes are predicted to be Category 3 or higher. These hurricanes will make up 45 days of the hurricane season. Researchers say to keep in mind that the forecast has the potential to change as we approach the season. Florida is still recovering from the aftermath of Hurricane Idalia that hit back in August. The hurricane made landfall in the Big Bend region as a Category 3 storm. Representatives from UF-IFAS estimated damages from Idalia being between $80 to $370 million.
With those 23 named storms possibly heading our way for the rest of the season, behind me are the names of those storms, but I'll be letting you know our future weather for the upcoming week after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Looking back at the crystal clear skies above campus, you can see not a cloud in sight, and those conditions are going to be sticking with us. That 70 degrees you see is going to be taking a dip tonight, though, as we move from those current temperatures down to the 60s, even a bit lower as we get into those early morning hours past 12 a.m. That cloudless sky is going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, though. Our lows tonight are in the upper 40s here in Gainesville, a little bit warmer on the East Coast in Jacksonville and St. Augustine, but temperatures generally staying below that 50-degree mark for those lows. Now, our highs for tomorrow are going to be very similar to today in those mid to lower 70s pretty much across the board, continuing that pattern that we've had since that storm came through a couple of days ago. Looking at our hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow, you can see temperatures climbing throughout the day with those sunny skies, not a cloud in sight for tomorrow either, to those mid-70s in the late afternoon, early evening. As you're planning out your weekend, you can see Saturday following that trend of cloudless skies as those temperatures climb from those upper 40s to those lower 70s. Sunday following a similar temperature pattern, but we do have a bit of clouds in the sky for that, and the temperature is going to be a little bit warmer into those upper 70s for that high. Looking at our future track for the upcoming week, you can see Monday we have this storm system, but not really in our region. It won't be making its way towards us until Thursday early morning into the rest of the day, and that's when we'll be seeing that rain and those storms come through our region. In Georgia, you might have that a little bit earlier. Looking at our muggy meter for the week, you can see we're going to be having pleasant conditions for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, getting a little bit more humid as we get into the start of next week, but it won't be sweltering out, so you don't have to worry about having too much sweat. Our pollen forecast for tomorrow and today has been low since that rain came through yesterday, but it's going to reset to those high levels on Saturday and Sunday, so you want to make sure to have your meds. On Monday, we have that eclipse coming through. It won't be getting a total solar eclipse in our region, but we will have 60 to 70% viewage, except from that cloud coverage, which will obstruct it for a lot of the United States. Looking at our 7-day outlook, you can see temperatures for this weekend are highs in those lower 70s, climbing throughout the week, hitting their peak on Wednesday, where they're in those mid-80s, similar pattern for our lows, as that changes on Thursday with a rain system coming through.
Up next in sports, we will take a look at what went down this weekend and what this weekend has in store for Gators gymnastics. As well, WUFT will be live at the O'Connell Center to recap what went down in day one of the NCAA Gainesville Regional. All of that and more after the break. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome into sports. I'm Miguel Molina. April has finally rolled in, which means it's championship season in college gymnastics. The NCAA Gainesville Regional started today with Clemson taking on Iowa State. The mats have been rolled back out and the beam has been set as gymnastics is back in the O'Connell Center today in the NCAA Gainesville Regional. The first two teams competed today as Clemson made an appearance in the inaugural season against Iowa State in round one. The Cyclones sent the Tigers home, however, outscoring Clemson 195.875 to 195.625, pretty close. Clemson took a slight edge with a strong start on the vault with Rebecca Wells snagging a 9.8. But the Tigers struggled on the bars and Iowa State took advantage with Paige Willis matching a 9.8 on the vault as well. The floor routine was all Iowa State though. The decider, 3 consecutive 9.8s or better as Noelle Adams sealed the deal for the Cyclones. Tomorrow action has a full plate with the other 6 teams competing in 2 sessions as Iowa State moves on to compete alongside number 4 Florida in session 2 at 7 p.m. Yesterday afternoon, Rainsville was in full effect. But the 352 was not the only city in Florida to get hit by some showers. Rain in DeLand on Wednesday led to the Gators softball game against Stetson to be postponed. But now with everyone singing "You Are My Sunshine," it's time to play ball. With clear skies, number 10 Florida takes on the Hatters tonight at Patricia Wilson Field. Last time these two teams matched up, the Orange and Blue dominated Stetson by mercy ruling them 11-2 in 5 innings on March 13th. The 31-5 Gators are coming off of their 3rd consecutive SEC series win after beating number 17 Mississippi State in last weekend's series. Florida's recent success comes thanks to senior shortstop Skylar Wallace, who leads the conference with a .484 batting average, an on-base percentage of .636, and 24 stolen bases. The Gators will look to Wallace to help extend the Hatters' current losing streak to 5. First pitch is at 6 p.m. Swinging over to the mound, number 6 Gators baseball heads to the Midwest to face Missouri this weekend. After not being able to win a midweek matchup since February 28th, Florida finally was able to get back in the win column on Tuesday when they beat Florida A&M 10-7. Two-way star Jack Caglione continues to put the team on his back by leading UF with 46 hits, 14 home runs, and 30 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Cags has 37 strikeouts and has only allowed 5 runs in his last 5 starts. While the Gators are building momentum, the Tigers are slipping fast by going 1-8 in the SEC play and having lost 20 of their last 21 matchups with the Orange and Blue. Game 1 is set for Friday night at 7. Moving from college baseball to high school, here are some notable local games happening tonight. Number 1 Buchholz faces Keystone Heights at 6. The Bobcats will look to Nick Moore to swing for the fences as he leads the team with a .500 batting average. Number 2 ranked Newberry hosts Lafayette at 7. The Hornets are looking for revenge as the Panthers handed them their only loss on the season on March 7th. One final note, the Miami Heat look to hold on to their playoff spot tonight when they host Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers at 7:30.
Now, speaking of a different kind of heat, Gancarz-Davies has the forecast for next week.
That's right. We will be warming up a bit over this next coming week, Friday and Saturday in those lower 70s, but getting to the upper 70s on Sunday and continuing that trend through the mid-80s on Wednesday. Monday is our eclipse, so make sure to grab your solar eclipse glasses if you want to take a look.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.